Hi, this is Zoe STFU, and this is number 4 of which of the main 6 you guys like. However, there was a tie, so I'm doing a 2-part. This is part 1. The one who was closest to the bomb, I have to say, was Twilight Sparkle. Now, don't get me wrong, even though she is somehow like the main leader of the group, but I can kind of understand why some people picked her on the bottom. We see her constantly throughout the show. She is a bit stay-ish, and don't get me wrong, and don't feel offended when I say this, but Twilight Sparkle almost kind of reminds me of Hermione Granger from Harry Potter. Now, there is a difference, and they do have some similarities. For example, besides being bookish, however, they do like to give out access to knowledge. They share with their friends. They constantly try to stick to the rules and try to keep their friends out of trouble. However, like I said, they also have their differences. For example, in the first episode of Friendship is Magic, you can see that Twilight doesn't really want to make friends. She just wants to prove to her teacher, she wants to prove to Princess Celestia that the Nightmare Moon's return. And of course, at the same time, she is constantly making friends. And she even expresses how she feels about Ponyville after when Spike basically tells her to calm down. And that what's the problem? She says, all the ponies in this town are crazy. Don't they know what time it is? And basically, she basically says that that friendship basically isn't needed until the return of harmony. Now, Twilight does have a couple good episodes in this. You actually get to see how she is stressed out in several episodes. Like in the Ticketmaster. That's kind of like the first official episode since Friendship is Magic is kind of considered the pilot and in 2 parts. However, to me, it's like episode 3 since I always seen a pilot as episode 1. However, you do get to see Twilight go through stressful things, like when she's trying to help her friends out, when she's going through different quests. For example, in Friendship is Magic, you actually get to see Twilight open up to the 6. She sees them as people who she may want to associate with. However, in the Ticketmaster, you can kind of see that she may actually start reconsidering. But however, she is basically considering them all the best friends. It reminds me of an episode in My Little Pony Tales, when I actually found another character, Clover, who basically wins 2 tickets to see a rock band coming to the next town. However, due to her 6 friends, she has to choose between which ones to take. However, she ends up, again, winning once more in a lottery held by her dad, who gets to go. Basically, her rocker friend Melody and Chloe ends up going. However, they change their mind, give up the tickets, and they leave. However, it's not the case in this one. Twilight basically sends back the tickets, telling Princess Celestia, hey, I appreciate the gift, however, I don't want to go without my friends, so here's the tickets. Princess Celestia responds saying, why did you say so before? And she sends 7 tickets. 7 is because Spike got the last one at the end of that episode. But anyway, like in Applebuck, you constantly see her trying to help out Applejack, but Applejack doesn't want him. Is kind of like the one who gives. She doesn't want to receive help. And let's see, Swarm of the Century. You actually get to see Twilight freak out in this episode. I love this line that she says. She's like, okay, everyone, we have less than 5 seconds to build an additional exact replica of Ponyville right in that direction. And it takes Pinkie Pie to save the day. And like in Brown Gossip, you actually see Twilight trying not to believe in gossip. And she does basically try to show herself off as being the known pony. Like, not, please, excuse me, not completely as the show pony. Not the show pony. She basically tries to be the one who keeps her head cool, even though she hasn't been Ponyville very long. However, she does apologize, and she does come up with some good ideas, especially at the end when she actually leads the main six, plus the core and Apple Bloom to a spot where the cure is made, even after when they got into the poison joke. And before anyone says, well, poison joke sounds like poison oak. Well, it kind of is, but different. Instead of itching, it pulls a joke on you. For Twilight, her horn goes wobbly, and it's covered with dots. And look before you sleep, you actually get a real glimpse seeing how antisocial Twilight is when she actually has the 101 guide to having a good sleepover. When she basically, it's not until like close to the, like almost at the end of the episode when she actually finally sees that Applejack and Verily are having issues with each other, which will probably be discussed later on in the countdown. And of course, when the Grand Galloping Gala episode, wow, don't get me wrong, but basically, Twilight just wants to hang out with Princess Celestia and talk about the magic she's learned, the friendship she experienced, but basically, she has to share her time with the princess with everyone else, and everyone else basically wants to talk to Princess Celestia. And let's see, in Return of Harmony, you actually see Flashlight struggle and fight for her friendship. And she actually links it back up to the pilot, or the first episode, when she says, don't you remember when I said friendship will not actually help? But basically, friendship is keeping us together. And she fights and struggles to keep her friends together. Even though in the first part, you actually see her continue to struggle, but she's getting stressed out. She's basically the only one who tries to get her act together. In Lesson 3, you actually get to see her go cuckoo. Now, don't get me wrong for saying this, but in Lesson 0, I'm sorry to say that I couldn't get through it. Like, for me, I'm more of a person who basically likes to see it funny, but when Twilight basically pulls herself into, I'm going to say, emotional depression, or, no, I'm going to call it, how am I going to call this? Because I don't want to sound stupid for saying this. Emotional stress, it's probably a bad word for it. When she basically goes down a downward spiral, when she realizes she doesn't have a lesson for Princess Celestia. Luckily, at the end of the episode, her friends pull her out of the gutter. You get to see in a lot of episodes that Twilight basically, I'm sorry to say this, she is the one who constantly likes to look like the perfect student in Princess Celestia's eyes. No, don't get me wrong. She is a powerful unicorn. Like, and basically, Ghostbusters, Twilight doesn't want to show up as a show-off. However, at the end of the episode, she does write to Princess Celestia saying, oh, it's okay to be a show-off. When basically, when she kept saying earlier on, oh, it's not a good idea to be a show-off. It's not good. It's not a good idea. But it does drive me to the hopes of getting ticked off, because it's kind of like this. No. See, things become completely unclear as the episode goes on in Lesson 0. In A Canterlot Wedding, it goes from peaceful time to heck, since Twilight basically sees something's wrong with Princess Condora to Fidenza, who is Princess Cadence, who's later on reveals to be queen of of the changelings. And we do get to see Twilight basically stressed out, but it's not until part 2 when Twilight finds out that she is right and she has to rush to not only help save the wedding, but also her future sister-in-law and her brother. At the same time, we are rushing through it. There's not pretty much any good episodes that Twilight is involved in season 3, except for the Crystal Empire. When Twilight basically thinks everything she has to do is involving with the test. However, Princess Celestia says it's a different type of test. It's not an actual test. It's kind of like you do hands-on experience. And however, she's thinking, oh my gosh, I gotta write an essay, I gotta write a history paper, and so on and so forth. When basically she should focus on helping save the Crystal Ponies. It's not until at the end when she gets into a freaking trap that she realizes that it doesn't have to do with the test anymore. It's about saving these ponies' lives from King Solomon, who is basically a unicorn pony who goes mad with power. We also do get to see Twilight's fear of not being able to study under Princess Celestia anymore, considering being her student anymore. But it drove me, but I'm saying, like, in some episodes like these, when Twilight is basically focusing on trying to be the best student, when basically she should have been focusing on doing what she can. Now, I love when Twilight does magic. Like, in Too Many Pinkie Pies, you actually get to see Twilight do a banishing spell and sending all the fake copies back to the mirror pool. And the magical cutie mark mystery was also a pretty good episode. However, I still stand that they should have made it into a 2-parter. But then again, no matter how much I wish I could rant on this character, however, she still has her good qualities. She's a good friend, and sometimes when reading, she can actually help out with her friends. However, I do wish that, Twilight could lighten up. Maybe in the next season, even though she is a princess, we'll actually get to see Twilight being more friendish than being, a constant know-it-all, or a go-to for us. However, like I said, this is part 1. Keep it out for part 2. See you guys later, and this is STFUHM signing off.